President of the Transitional Sovereignty Council, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, chaired the first full commandership meeting of the Armed Forces, the first since the outbreak of the National Battle of Dignity. His Excellency discussed with the member of General Commandership issues related to the armed forces in various military fields. Vice President of the Transitional Sovereignty Council, Malik Agar, announced during his visit to Marinjan Industrial Zone in Greater Madani locality his adoption of addressing industrial issues in the state. For his part, the governor of Al Jazeera State, Al-Tahir Ibrahim Al-Khair, announced his support for the industrial sector. Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance, Economy and Manpower, Atif Abu Shouk, revealed that 8 major industrial zones in the state had been subjected to total destruction, looting and burning. Member of the Transitional Sovereignty Council and Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, SAF, General Shamsuddin Kabashi, inspected the General Intelligence Service Forces at Surkab Camp. His Excellency was accompanied during the visit by Lieutenant General Malik Al-Tayyib Khojali, Deputy Chief of Staff Operations, and was received by the Deputy Director of the General Intelligence Service, Lieutenant General Muhammad Abbas Al-Labib. Kabashi praised the role of the intelligence forces in the Battle of Dignity, offering his condolence for the martyrs of this national battle. He noted that high morale of the forces, stressing that the General Intelligence Service forces operate in complete harmony and cooperation with the armed forces to defeat the brutal rebellion and achieve peace stability throughout the country. Member of the Transitional Sovereignty Council and Assistant Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Engineer Ibrahim Jaber, met with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, President Representative Hong Yang. His Excellency was briefed on the organization's activities and plans to contribute to the rehabilitation and reconstruction of Khartoum state and assist Sudanese in developing agriculture sectors. For his part, the FAO President Representative in Sudan explained that Khartoum was one of the most productive states in vegetable production and has a large number of animal resources that were devastated by the war. He announced the organization's desire to assist the Sudanese government in rebuilding agricultural and animal resources sectors to achieve food security in the country. Prime Minister Professor Kamel Al-Tayyib Idris launched the major campaign Improve the Environment and Clean Khartoum State. The event was attended by Engineer Muhammad Kortikella, Minister of Federal Governance and Rural Development, and the Governor of Khartoum State, Ahmed Osman Hamza, along with the number of officials and representatives of youth and community sectors in an event assured the importance of community solidarity in improving the environment and promoting public health. In his speech, Idris announced the official launch of the campaign from the national capital, emphasizing that the Khartoum represents a symbol of sovereignty and the prestige of the state, and to do what's mentioned before is a national responsibility that requires concerted official and popular efforts. The United Nations General Assembly will hold its 80th annual session next September at its headquarters in New York. The session will begin on September 9, while high-level meetings will take place from September 23rd to 27th. The session will conclude on the 29th of the same month. According to information obtained by Sudan Horizon, the war in Sudan will be among the main agenda topics on which the meetings will focus, including addressing global crisis alongside the war in Gaza and Ukraine. Other issues will also be discussed, most notably the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals and international peace and security. The Assembly will dedicate a special ministerial meeting to this issue, in addition to discussing nuclear proliferation, climate, and the environment, and combating corruption. Arabic gum, gum acacia, gum Sudani, and by other names. Arabic gum is a tree gum exuded by two species of acacia. The gum is harvested commercially from wild trees named al-hashab trees and al-talih trees in Sudan. And the most important region for cultivating Arabic gum is Kordofan, Darfur, Gadarif, Sinnar, Kassala, and Nile area throughout the Sahel from Senegal to Somalia. The name of Arabic gum, or al-samgh al-Arabi, was used in the Middle East at least as early as the 9th century. Arabic gum first found its way to Europe via Arabic pores and retained its name of origin. Arabic gum is complex mixture. It's soluble in water, edible, and used primarily in the food industry and soft drinks industry as a stabilizer with number E414. Arabic gum is a key ingredient in lithography and is used in printing paints, glues, cosmetics, and various industrial applications, including control in links and in textile industries through less expensive materials compete with for many of these roles. Arabic gum was defined by the 31st Codex Committee for Food Additive held at The Hague from 19 to 23 March 1999. The dried exuded from trunks and branches of Acacia Senegal to Fascilia. Acacia Cial in the family Fabaceae Legumineaceae. At 2017 Safety Re-Evaluation by the Panel on Food Additive and Nutrient Sources of the European Food Safety Authorities, EFSA, said that although the above definitions hold true most internationally traded samples, the Arabic gum does not indicate a particular botanical sources. Arabic gum is used in the food industry as a stabilizer, emulsifying agent, and thickening agent in icing, filling, soft candy, chewing gum, and other confectionery to bind the sweeteners and flavorings in soft drinks. Since the 1950s, the global supply of Arabic gum has been dominated by Sudan. In the early 2020s, about 70% of the global supply has been sourced from Sudan, with approximately 5 million Sudanese people, more than 10% of the country's population, being directly or indirectly depend on Arabic gum for livelihoods. In 2022, Sudan's exports of Arabic gum were about 60,000 tons. So for this, Sudan is the largest country in all over the world producing the Arabic gum. As well, Sudan have a great agricultural potentialities. So Sudan is a world food basket.
Folk dances in Sudan in the region of Northern Sudan, Eastern Sudan, and Western Sudan are considered to be distinguished and constitute a symbol of the culture of the region and its historical and cultural heritage. It is known that Sudan is famous for the diversity of its cultures and environments. And this diversity has created a different and distinguished person in everything. Sudanese dances are rhythmic, moving, dancing, musical forms that express joys, beliefs, and social occasions. Dancing and singing are associated in Sudan environment. The dance of the desert environment is different from the dance of the poor savanna, different from the dance of the rich savanna, and different from the dances of the Nile groups. There is a common name for the dance in almost all parts of Sudan, which is known as belaying. We find the Kambala dance one of the most famous dances according to the traditions and customs of the state of Sudan. It's widespread in the South Kordofan region and is based on imitating the movement of cows in the field. It's usually held during the harvest season to celebrate the change of season. This region is famous for the presence of natural pastures and is covered with greenery throughout the year. Agricultural activity and livestock raising. In North dance, there is the rhythm of the Daleb, which started with the retro dance and the rhythm of Nugara only, and then entered the Rababa machine, and the dance is by one woman and group of men, and shows here the skill of women in dancing, and this dance has a nice social connotation. Other dances associated with harvesting in the region are such as Kuni Ner dance, associated with the blessing of the harvest in October. And this season there is a lot of joy in the abundant goodness. The Nuba Mountains are an area of the charming nature in which the highlands cover an area about 40 kilometers wide, about 90 kilometers long, and the height of about 150 meters, completely covered with greenery in most seasons of the year and characterized by natural pasture, where the rainfall reaches about 400 to 800 millimeters, which encouraged agricultural activity and livestock raising.
Strengthening the bonds of social cohesion, the artists contribute to creating positive social atmospheres dominated by interdependence and harmony, as artists program and event are an opportunity to establish new relationships and considers the bonds of love and trust among members of society, whether they are active participants in this event of content themselves with the role of spectators, as they feel more proud and belonging to their community. Artists event of all kinds serve as participant applications of previous community partnership experience and the organization and the coordination skills required as technicals and technical levels. There is also the very impactful role of such activities in developing cooperation skills between the organizing institute of events, private sector organization, and government agencies alike. Enjoying watching works of the line, participating in programs that is of display of creative side of the arts creators for community members kind of applications for the variety of beauty and creating and developments and the art sense that is refined and the garment for everything that is beautiful, and the impact of the sense is reflected in deepening the feelings of community to preference in the aesthetic source of place from landmark and building and the notifying them of importance of enhancing their surrounding environment with beautiful experience such as gardens and green square. Deepening the feeling of pride and pride. The importance of art and building better society is the marking through its role in the deepening the feeling of pride and pride among individuals for readers to the history of their nation, the richness of their culture, and the high status of what they live of civilization. Art that describes then as art in important means education in history and the products of different civilizations. It's clear and the conversations about the measure is achieved for man that he becomes more sensitive to greatness of the culture and more conscious to the past, and social has become strong and Joseph that does not shake easily in the face at facing and the tribulations and does not weeks in the attempts of weeks and the December. Improving the standard of living of individual. The artists help to review the economic situation of the country, improve the living standards of the citizens by creating new job corporations, reducing the spread of unemployment in society, in addition to supporting the tourism sector and the attracting tourism who are passionate about with usually stay longer and are more willing to spend than other tourism. The artists are important pillars of strong advanced economic and influence element in the budget of countries, and the economy grows as whereby the most mind others. The artists are an important pillar, a strong advantage, economic and influential practice of the budget of countries and their economic growth rates. Perhaps the most prominent evidence of this was the until-free report of many countries interested in art and artists of all kinds, reflecting the annual profit for the sector are high and contribute to supporting the state economy and the living income of individuals. The relationship between culture and the art. Art is related to the culture of society, and the age that peoples in the culture can be considered as an important factor and shaping themes of art, as the culture is reflected art in the various, from the drawing, sculpture, music, writing, literature, and the other. The history of Anshï periods can be preserved and the culture of different sciences by embodying them with work art, for example, meditations, details, inscriptions of various work of art and the works of temples and the various ancient houses of worship contributed to understanding the culture of the people, society, and the place prevailing in that time, and also help to explain and clarify the difference of culture in one place from time to learn more about the culture of people. You can read the article People Cultural. The Renaissance is an important example. The Renaissance how to live in the culture of any society, during which Europe began to reign when developed the artist, which was reflecting on many people who wanted to pay attention to art and support the artists. They also remind source artists reshapes work dating back to ancient Greek and Roman area. The field also includes many great artists who left great impact on culture of the past and the present through the important work at art is the worth remembering that art has a clear impact on the culture of many individuals, as it can consider as creative for individual to sometime and may also be reflected in the lives of some people by using as way to enhance communication. Here are some examples that lessens the reverse of impact of culture of art. The painting of Europe artists reflected the Francis control of the pilgrims. The Middle Ages period, the Islamic poetry reflected the present environment in which the incorporating the lives and the manifestation of in it and the massive the perfect the time, such as the importance of the clans and the tribe. The hardest writing found in the Egyptian parfaits reflected the Breton human culture at the time and the first that were important to them, the expression using equalities and shape. Trusted person of art and the culture lover. Some places in the world and characterize unique artists person because there are ancient history which artists seek visit to enjoy the culture arts because they respect this painting source in inspiration for them. Have the most important of these places. The city of Paris, France, it is the most important place among tourism lover of art culture and including many caves, sporting and glaciers and chance places visited by tourism, especially artists from everywhere.
فيهم دلال ودمعي في هواك